Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Rhinestone Island, episode 39. Now, last time we left off just finishing up all the road layouts, getting everything sort of wrapped up for our neighborhoods, and finally being ready to do the detailing and polish off and finish Copperville. So that is this episode's task. We're going to jump into some commercial building. We're going to do a whole bunch of foliage placement and detailing of this outer part of the island. We're going to use some cool new assets. We're going to be doing some new tricks with the Move It tool that will make all of this much easier and wrap up this whole area. So let's start off with this centerpiece here in the middle, just outside of our big shopping kind of commercial area. Now, I found these apartments that I've actually had installed for a while, but I haven't used them quite yet. So they ended up being pretty much perfect for our purposes here. I wanted something that was kind of a nicer apartment, not too big though. Keep that scale relative to the rest of this town, which is not super gigantic. They're also kind of modern looking though. They look sort of nice. They kind of remind me actually of the other apartments that are already down that are much larger. Those like urban apartments that are towards the middle of the shopping center, but they are much smaller. Obviously, they've got some little backlot things that I wanted to detail here. We got some cars parked. We got these dumpsters sitting down, and then we'll do some foliage here and there just to kind of make it look nicer and not so barren and boring. But just something kind of simple for the centerpiece here. Didn't really fit any of the regular zoning, so I thought, why not do some apartments over here to kind of tie this whole area together. And then, of course, we'll just throw down some final details here, just those little lights and whatnot. Then we'll get into this area next to the McDonald's. So for this side, I want to do some more commercial, just a little bit more. Nothing crazy, just some buildings we didn't already have. So a little McDonald's over here. We also needed a Best Buy, so we'll throw that one down on the other side. And then just some parking next to this big parking garage here. Now, I wasn't really sure about how I started off this parking lot over here. You can see we've got like a start to a parking lot. And I don't know. I didn't really like the way that the grass was laid out originally. I'll play around with it a little bit, but in the end, I think the thing that made it look good was adding in some extra planters and adding a little bit more of like a grass patch on the other side next to the Best Buy to kind of offset this like giant plot of grass and foliage, because it kind of looked weird, this like big L-shaped thing and then just like all concrete around it. So we'll make it look a bit more natural in a minute here, but for now, just doing some detailing around this parking lot. I wanted to have some overhanging lights. We needed to have some planters around here to spice up this drive-through and make our McDonald's look nice, and then of course the foliage for those as usual. But I think, other than that, we just wanted to get, here we go. So I wanted to throw down this little patch here of foliage as well. We could have some tall trees in to kind of offset that grass over there. Of course, some fencing here and there. Now, I also wanted to take this opportunity to have a little bit of like a back lot next to our Best Buy. We're going to have some trucks parked in the back over here. We got some dumpsters and stuff sitting around, and just your average back lot kind of stuff. Some cracks for the concrete to wrap it all up, and then we're pretty much done with that area. So now we're over to the other side of town. You might not recognize this immediately, but we are pretty close to those giant urban apartments. We are just, like, if you're coming into the town, we are just before the shopping center. Now this empty space over here, I was originally planning on having some commercial stuff. I went back on that and decided that I wanted to just have a park, like some green space instead, sort of as a way to create a buffer between the neighborhoods and this big avenue that's sort of in the middle here. So that's the plan here. Now, you saw I did put down some of those wooden fences all along the outside of these apartments over here, or these neighborhoods, excuse me. And I'm going to do that quite a bit later on in this episode. It's going to be all about sort of creating a bit of a buffer between these main suburbs and, well, not only this avenue, but the highway later on. We're going to have some houses sort of on the outskirts that need some segregation because they look a bit odd being like right next to those highways. I'm sure it'd be quite the eyesore, so we'll take care of that, no worries. But I wanted to make this park kind of nice. We got some flowers, we got some nice trees and foliage and stuff. We're throwing down some wild grass, just like a nice place to be. And then some fencing just to kind of fence off the whole area around here. leave some gaps for the walkways and maybe some picnic tables and some trash cans in the future here, just to kind of wrap up the whole park around here. But I think this was a good way to go. I wanted to have a bit more of a green space in the middle here, because this whole Copperville area seems to be pretty nice, pretty green, and has lots of these pathways kind of winding around. So I wanted to stick with that and get some more pathways in here, some more dirt stuff going around. So that was the goal there. But back to some of this wooden fence stuff. So again, I'm really not focusing on like dividing up and sectioning individual homes. You'll see I do it a few times over here, like right on the edge, but honestly, for the most part, this fence is more about just creating a barrier between the what's going to be a forest and the highway over there, because I don't want these people having this this view of the highway as much. So we're I guess more importantly, we don't want the highway having a view of these people's homes. I think it'd be better just to have some privacy. So that's what that's all about. Same thing over here by this train, where we don't really want to have especially these homes right next to the train there. I'm going to go back actually and probably do some sort of like barrier around the train, like some sort of chain link fence. We don't want people just like wandering onto the train tracks or whatever, at least around the residential zones over there. But just finishing up with that fence and then jumping into some foliage stuff here. This is all the beginnings of the foliage. We'll do some like inner foliage work, you know, some wild grass and some bushes and stuff, and some of the big trees going in now. This is all where the fun begins, though, I think, because this is where I sort of recognized a new application of the Move It tool. So the first thing I did before I did anything else, I just put down some large trees, sort of identifying where these clusters of trees are going to be and where most of the foliage is going to kind of congregate, and then had them sort of spread out from there. I'm trying to focus more this time around on not doing so many clusters of trees, but more just like a select few that are larger, that sort of kind of offset it more. Just like playing out the scale a bit, because I think last time we didn't really do that too well. Maybe closer to Rhinestone Island, I did lots of just kind of like mass placing trees everywhere. So we're working on getting some of these more natural plain kind of areas and you know, some non-tree, just kind of wild grass areas. So that's what's going on over here. Now, this might look a bit strange to you. You might not know what I'm doing here right now. So what I did is I plopped down a little orientation of these bushes. I'm going to do it now again, actually. These bushes, put down some wild grass, some of these taller wild grass pieces, and different little things we want to add. And then I select the entire thing with the marquee tool in the Move It menu, and then I go over, use the Control-C command, which is actually bound to actually copy the entire thing you select and move it, and then you can just continuously copy and place these little things that you build. And you might have just watched me do that. I mean, I literally just detailed like an area 3 times the size of the beach we made last time that took us forever. So this is really, really useful. If you want to do like lots of detailing all at once, this is a really, really good way to do that. I highly recommend giving that a shot. It makes it really, really easy to tackle larger areas at once and still maintain high levels of detail that look super nice. But one thing that you need to know about doing that I am quickly finding out, and this would have happened anyway, honestly, because I've been placing so much foliage, but lots of foliage like that definitely tanks your frame rate. So now in this area, and this was going to happen, like I said, regardless, I was going to put lots of foliage down over here and it was going to cause frame rate problems. I knew that from the start. That's why I didn't do all the foliage early on. I waited till we were towards the end in this area. But something amazing has happened beyond the Move It tool, which is already incredible. This update is amazing. I think this actually happened a little while ago. I just didn't really notice how many awesome applications there were for all these tools. But there has been an even better mod that got released, or I don't know, even better is kind of objective. I guess even better for me personally as a content creator, and if you are a content creator as well that makes City Skylines videos, this might be super interesting to you. But someone by the name of Sam on the Steam Workshop has created an amazing mod called the Cinematic Camera Extended. This is something that we actually personally requested of him, myself, Strict Toaster, and Fresh Popcorn. We were all just talking about, man, wouldn't it be awesome if Cinematic Camera did this, and wouldn't it be awesome if it did this? All these things, these little things, and some of these bigger things, such as the ability to like save routes now, the ability to hide the UI. But the big thing is now what you can do is you can actually limit the game's frame rate. So not just like slow the game's frame rate down and make your game run choppy. What that means is the simulation simulates at the same frame rate as this frame rate that you select. So you can have the simulation frame rate set down to like 5, which means that your computer now is just going to focus on outputting 5 frames per second. That's all it's going to do. Get some nice clean 5 frames, and then you'd set up maybe, I don't know, a sort of longer sequence, and then you just let it run through. You can use all the same old cinematic camera stuff that you've always used. So make a nice sequence, get some cool shots and stuff, all in 5 FPS, and then go back, speed it up 12 times in your editor, or maybe you do it, I don't know, maybe you do it at like 10 FPS and speed it up 6 times, whatever you need to do to make sure you get every single frame captured smoothly. Then you go speed it up in post, and boom, you've got a nice, clean, buttery smooth shot that works with the in-game simulation at the normal level. It's not all sped up or anything, it's the right speed. So this is amazing. This is like game breaking, or not game breaking. This is game breaking is the opposite of what this is. This is incredible. This is like game changing. That's the word I'm looking for. It's game changing, and I say that like every single episode. But what this means is we don't really have to worry anymore about the frame rate, because I'm not sitting here constantly thinking, oh man, how am I going to get a shot now? This is going to be way too choppy. There's no way my computer's going to be able to handle this shot with all these grass pieces and whatnot. Well, now all I gotta do is just drop that frame rate to 5 or 10 or something, record a much longer shot, speed it up, and then you're good to go, and you got nice buttery smooth content. So this means that pretty much anybody out there now, regardless of you could have like the worst laptop ever, as long as you can run at 1 frame per second, you can get buttery smooth 60 FPS shots of your city now, which is amazing. It's like awesome. So I highly recommend checking out the Cinematic Camera Extended. Super awesome mod. Thank you, Sam. This thing is incredible, and I'm really happy we have this. And it's also got some other features too. Check it out. It's got some really cool little extended features here. But anyway, back to what we were doing. You might have noticed I did a little bit more of that copy-paste kind of stuff with the Move It tool. Now what I was doing is instead of using those clusters of grass that sort of like don't conform to the hills and they make weird floating grass, you can use pre-made clusters that you make yourself. So, put a bunch of small little grass clusters and then copy that. And then whenever you go and place those copied things, since they're all individual assets in that cluster, they will conform to the terrain how they should, and you won't get a bunch of weird floating grass. So that makes that way easier as well. So really, just all in all, this technique is amazing in like a million different ways. But anyway, we are at the end of this time lapse now, so let's go ahead and get back to the live portion and continue working and finishing Copperville. Alright, so that's it for the time lapse. Back to the main core of the episode. The first thing that I want to do is just apologize. I know that I said this during the time lapse, but with all of this new foliage, especially all this stuff all around here, we will most definitely have some frame rate when we get close to the main part of town. It's kind of just how it is at this point. Not a problem for time lapses and cinematics, but kind of a problem for the live footage stuff. So anyway, we've got everything done. Copperville is entirely completed minus the public transit. We need to do a few things regarding that. So right now, just to get you up to speed on what's going on, we have one single train line that only has one station here, and then it goes all the way down, follows the train over here, down alongside the highway into our main city over here, and then it actually cuts underground. I believe there's a split off under this little tunnel here that connects it over here via this little tunnel. Comes along this way, wraps around our little roundabout over here, comes in here and meets up with Unity Station. So Unity Station is the only other stop on this line. It's a very busy station, as you can see. There's always tons of people, especially in the tram section over here. It's always crazy busy, but I love it. I love how much use we get out of this thing. But anyway, as fantastic as Unity Station is, it really only gives people access to the main Luxway Bay town over here. And then, of course, they can always take the trams to kind of move around, and there's also access to metros over here that takes you back down to downtown. But most people would rather just drive down to downtown than take the train all the way up to Luxway Bay and then take the metro back down to the downtown area over here. And that's kind of a problem. It's really not a huge problem, actually. You can look and see right now It looks like there's a bit of a line for the merge over here. I'm actually going to speed it up so you can really see what's going on here, and also zoom out so we got the LODs loaded, and this should be a bit smoother, a bit less laggy. But you can see that what happens here over time is, again, everything about this intersection and about this method of moving cars into our town is, I would say, the equivalent of like constant time. If you're talking about like an algorithm or something, right? There's nothing that is restricting the flow whatsoever on the input. So everything coming in right now has zero restriction. It can exit the flow of traffic pretty freely. There's not going to be any slowing down and exit of the flow of traffic. And then by the time that the cars get to any of their first lights, which this is the first light actually that any cars will reach, you can see there's like a very small number of cars that are actually going to reach this light. Same with this side, they go right into the neighborhoods, which are free flowing. There's no traffic lights in here. If they go down this way, we actually fixed this, but not only do we have no traffic lights, but this had kind of like a heavier flow of traffic. So what I did is I have a one-way going out this way and a one-way going out this way, which allows for all of the incoming traffic to split off immediately and go where they want to go. And then once we reach the second intersection here, this is when cars are allowed to then turn onto this street. That way we don't have any cross traffic with the cars turning on and the cars turning off. And it seems to work pretty well. You can see, and you can actually watch this. It's kind of amazing to see all these cars flying in here and flying around these little tunnels here, and really not having any issues with each other, which is pretty awesome to see. Now, the only part of this intersection that I wouldn't call quote-unquote constant time, it's kind of I don't know if it's a great comparison, but the only thing that is sort of like the weakest link, I guess, in this whole thing is this merge. And I think all of you guys know this, but merging in this game is really the only thing that, or one of the biggest problems with traffic that is pretty hard to adjust for, really. There's really no way around it. You have to create merges at some point for exiting traffic. So this is our merge point. Now, you can see right now it's actually relatively smooth. There's really not a lot of issues, and this is because the cars on both sides are pretty light. Now, if we ever have issues like this where cars start to pile up, maybe this little area might do it. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So you can see now we're going to have some cars blocking each other and slowing down. That one cleared up pretty fast. There was a nice gap between it, but what can happen is occasionally we're going to have some backups that move cars down this way and back into this avenue. It's happened a few times. It really is kind of a rare thing, but it occasionally happens where they back up this avenue all the way even to this light over here, and it's not a huge problem because, again, it's not nearly as bad as having a traffic light that is not handling all of the traffic. If that's an issue, then you're going to constantly have more traffic coming in that can't be handled, and it's going to back up more and more and more and more and more all the way back onto like a highway or something in the future. That's bad. That's how you get those like giant gridlock problems. This is not one of those issues. This is just a simple merging problem, which actually is really not a merging. It was a big problem earlier. I was hoping that it would happen once or twice so you guys could really see what I'm talking about here, but it will never back up further than really just like maybe here. It's never going to be a huge issue because it'll always clear itself up. There's a constant flow of traffic. It's just slowed down from the merging. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here, I just wanted to explain the system, but more importantly, once we get these bus routes in, which will negate the need for all of these cars to drive themselves to Rhinestone City, hopefully that means that the outflow of traffic, and this might actually be our, we might see this here becoming a traffic issue. I think this really happens whenever this light turns and has like a bit of a blockade here that then all comes in at once. Yeah, you can see it's going to happen right now. This isn't even that bad. This is going to clear up once these lights turn, but just like big chunks of cars at once are what are going to cause these traffic backups here. That'll kind of back up just a little bit, like I said, just to like here or so, and then they will clear themselves out again once less cars come from over here. But once we have buses, that should clear this whole thing up and kind of put us just below what I would say is critical mass. Right now, we're pretty much at critical mass. I think any more cars than this coming in and then this merging thing would probably become more of an issue because then we get cars backing up further and further, and it'd be harder to clear it up, and it would really bother me personally. So this whole bus situation should fix that. So let's jump into our transport tab and try to add some new routes and hopefully clear this whole area up a little bit. All right, so this is the transport view. You can see we've got just a single line going all the way down, and all the way down to our Unity station down here on this side. So in the main island, we can see all of our existing routes kind of through here. Also, of course, the metro lines, running around all throughout. And of course, like I said, they could very easily take the yellow line down this way or the red line from Unity over here if they were taking the train down this way, but it really isn't nearly as fast as driving right now, so we need to fix that. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to make bus routes from the main harbor of Copperville down to all of our primary bus terminals. So let's start with that. Now I want to take a look real quick at all of these. So here's the, let's see, Delfino Plaza to Union. I think I have some, yeah, RC is Rhinestone Central, and I believe this is this one. Yeah, this is Rhinestone Central over here. So we need to have one to Rhinestone Central. We could have one to the university, although I think that we've got enough service from Rhinestone Central to transfer to the university. So we should have one route to Rhinestone Central. We don't really need anything else, I think, in this area, since Rhinestone Central should take us out to all of these little areas, including Dale, and it's right in the middle of downtown, so if they're trying to get to this town area over here, they can very easily either transfer and get on another bus that goes, in one of these loops, or they can just walk to their location. We do, however, need to, I think, have one more route. Well, actually, there's really no reason to make a bus route to go to Unity Station because we've got the train route already. So I think that we really only need to have one bus route that just goes down to the Rhinestone Central, because there's really, like I said, I mean, this would be the other kind of half of the city, the other half of the population that can't currently take this train route to get to this half over here. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got a nice little roundabout set up, so it does make it pretty easy to go ahead and lay down these bus routes. So I think I'm going to make the bus stop on this side, maybe back here. That's a good spot. I kind of like how it's a bit away from the harbor over there. So we'll head down this way. Now I think I'm going to make a couple stops just in some basic areas. I want to make kind of a roundabout. Let's see. Let's bring it down here and have it stop once by the harbor to give us access to that. Now I'm going to have some routes that actually go all around Copperville as well and bring you back over to the harbor on this side, but I want to have one that goes there just next to the harbor on the way out, and then it's going to leave over here anyway, so it kind of makes sense to do that. And then we'll just go all the way down here. On our way here, I wonder if it makes sense to, well, we're not going to be exiting this highway, so we're going to take this highway all the way down, and I think this highway actually sends here our mess of interchanges. Man, this is some old stuff. I haven't seen this in a while. But we're going to come down this way. We're going to take this exit. Wait, no, that's not correct. How do you even get in here? Well, if I hold this down, we can see. Oh, yes, take this exit. We need to exit into the main part of downtown, and then that's going to bring us out this little tunnel here. I think we may as well just make a stop on the way in. So I'll have maybe one stop right here in downtown, maybe like one more stop over on this corner, which is kind of close to our whole like shopping center thing in Delfino, and then it'll come in this way and make a nice little stop over here. I don't know why there's like a bus route missing here. I'm gonna put it on this side though, just to kind of separate them. So there we go. And then on the way out again, I'm pretty sure this one just goes straight on out here. And does it get us right to the highway? I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure that the only way to get to the highway is to re-exit and then re-enter our exit point, which should be not here. This is for cargo. This is the ridiculous maze that is these tunnels that I made. I still think they're pretty cool though. I think they worked really well. I mean, we have like hardly any traffic, and our traffic dispersion from the highway is pretty effective. The real thing is we've got such good public transit that we have like hardly any cars to begin with, so this wasn't really necessary in the end, but still super cool, and we could totally expand our population and have zero problems with traffic, so kind of a cool thing. I still think it's pretty sweet regardless, but in case you forgot that this mess of tunnels was underneath Rhinestone, it is. It's still there. Never changed that. Anyway, let's get back in here again. So we're gonna re-enter on this highway. Whoa, can I make? Oh, this is an avenue. Right. So re-enter here. Now we're gonna probably end up going down this way. Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. I guess we may as well just make another stop in the same sort of area over here and then come back. I don't want to try and make it zigzag too much. It should be a pretty direct route. That way people try to take it over driving. So there we go. This is going to be Copperville slash Rhinestone Central, so RC. I'm pretty sure that the way I did this is I always put Rhinestone Central first, just because it's like the main part, I think. Makes it easier to read everything else. So Copperville RC, bus depot. Doesn't really matter what the bus depot is, honestly. I'll let the rest of this kind of do its thing. Now, route colors. I've been doing a combination of shades of gray and black and white, just for all of our bus routes, so they're kind of easy to remember. So I'm going to do a bunch of gray routes, I think, like varying degrees of gray. I'll make this one kind of like a darker gray, just to make it a bit easier. Oh, I didn't even save this. It's RC Copperville. There we go. Now we got that. And I'm really curious to see how many people start taking this bus route. Obviously, it's going to take a bit for this thing to even get put into place, because we have no bus depots in the entirety of Copperville. Maybe we should change that. They're not huge. In fact, okay, so they don't actually fit in these little 5 grid space wide. They are 6 units wide. I wonder if we could fit one down here underneath the train. It looks like we can, actually. I'm gonna stop this simulation and turn off my. Okay, well that actually will break it. So we need to delete some stuff to make room for this, because it won't. I need to use Anarchy to place this, and I don't want to have a bunch of trees clipping inside of it. So let's go ahead and delete all these. Make some space over here. I know it seems a bit odd to have one in the neighborhood, but this is still kind of like one of these main roads off to the side. So, in fact, I wonder if I can make it come from this side. Oh, those are growing in. I want to pause real quick. Oh, it looks like we could actually. Wait, can we? Somehow there's not a zone here. Why is there not a zone here? Oh, it's because of the track here. That's why. Well, we could actually. Can we? I don't think we can actually do this. If I do, I'm just curious now. If I place this on this side, and then I like how it's like right there on the right level. If I place it on this side, and then I select it with move it, and then I rotate it like this, basically all it's looking for is a road connection that's close to its footprint here. So I'm pretty sure that if we just do this, that it will connect to this road and not try and drive here and then turn around, even though I placed it on this road. Can't confirm that, but I'm almost positive that's how it works. So I'm gonna delete. Actually, you know what? This one was fine where it was. It's not a very fun place to live, but it could be worse. Well, you know what? Let's just let's get rid of his house. No one wants to live there. That's good. Hang on. Why is there? Oh, the concrete's for the backyard. May as well just kind of connect it. Whatever. If we're gonna connect it, may as well fully connect it. So there we go. And then, yeah, I wonder how this is gonna handle everything. I'm gonna delete these foliage pieces and also this fencing in select areas, which is just gonna be like directly in front of everything. So like that. I think that's pretty good. Give us some space to get in and out. And then I'll plop some trees down too, but I don't think it's really necessary to do this, honestly, because the only time we need to have buses come in and out of the depot is when they first spawn, because this is just like an always running route. If it was like a night route or a daytime route, then we'd really need to have a bus depot nearby, because they'd be coming in and out whenever it gets dark, and that would be a pain to have them drive all the way from Rhinestone City just to get over here. Gonna plop a few different tree types here and some bushes and stuff, you know, the usual. I want to use some of these purple bushes too, just try and blend it all in with the rest of what we got going on here. Kind of hide it, actually, is really the goal. I don't want it to be too visible. I kind of like how it fits right underneath this train station, though. Or this train line. And then I'll just do some wild grass placement over here. That's enough of that, though. We're pretty much good to go. Sweet. There we go. Now it's not really like in the neighborhood. It's actually on this side, just kind of taking up some space where houses would be. And I'm curious now. Let's see. Is anything going to come out of this? Is the first question, actually, because I don't. Whoa. There's a bus number. Hang on a minute. Is that how many buses we have, or is that just like a max number that they for some reason like coded into this game? I have no idea. I do not think we have that many vehicles. Yeah, we definitely don't. We only have like maybe a couple hundred. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder why it like gives you a number. Like what? Like there's a maximum number of buses that I can handle, but it's 121,000. That's a lot of buses for a little depot like that. But all right. Anyway, are there any buses on this route yet? Let's see. It's got 16 vehicles and 0 passengers, so it hasn't really been running yet, it looks like. 6 stops. I wonder if we'll see any of these. Okay, I can see them coming right now. So they definitely have spawned. I'm pretty sure they won't even pick up any passengers until they get to the start point. So we'll have to wait and see if that's actually going to work well. But beyond that, why don't we play some more routes while we're at it, since, well, we got to wait anyway for this. And we definitely need to have some more routes within this little ecosystem over here. So let's do... I'm going to put all the stops on this one. Ooh, we got a lot of people already waiting here. That's pretty awesome. I think I'm just going to stack some stops on top of this one because it's kind of a good spot, I think, for people to wait anyway. Now, I don't really think it makes sense to have buses running through neighborhoods consistently. I've never seen bus routes that go into suburbs like this. Maybe into residential zones, but never in the actual suburbs themselves. It seems kind of weird. Maybe like school buses do that, but I don't really think that public buses do that very often. So I'm not going to do that here. I'm also going to avoid going out on this road because it's going to cause more merging problems. But let's just go straight down to Copperville. So we'll have a stop. Let's have a stop right at the outskirts of these neighborhoods here, like that. And then we'll just go like straight down the middle of downtown. So pick up everybody who's you know, around in this area. And then let's keep it simple. Let's just have it do that and then go take a lap around the parking area over here. I know this doesn't really actually cover a lot of people per se. I'll do some actually outside of these areas as well. But I think it makes sense logistically to have some bus routes like right outside the parking garage over here. So we'll have one over on this side and then come on back around again and connect the line. So this is going to be... Okay, let me see the naming scheme. I totally forgot what we did for buses. I'm pretty sure they're just called lines. Yeah. So you're going to be Copperville, line 1. Boom. And I'll make these like light gray, I think. Looks like we're already getting some people using these buses, which is pretty cool. Also, lots of these like Hawaiian buses that I installed a super long time ago. These are some really old bus types. So we got that. All right. Let's see. What else do we need? So that was a really simple line, really not covering a whole lot, and the gray is pretty invisible actually. We got that. Let's do another one. I think this one is going to be one that tries to reach out for some neighborhoods more. So, actually, let's do one. I mean, I know, again, this is really not going to help our game at all, but I just think we should definitely have a route that goes to this little hotel, and then it should go immediately down to the other hotel. I think that would make a lot of sense. And then, let's see, maybe just like a stop outside these neighborhoods. Well, I don't think this one should really have that many stops if it's going to go just directly to the hotels. Let's just have it do only that. I don't know how the game's going to handle that. It might, interesting, it tries to take it out that way. Well, if we're going to, okay, you know what? on second thought, we should probably give it a few more stops, because I think the game is going to give it the same amount of buses as everything else, and that's not going to really be useful. They're not going to need a lot of people going down this way. So let's drop one here, and then let's follow that same route that was the fastest path and just have a bus stop in front of the Westin. I'll go a bit further down though, so we're not in the same area. And then we can have some on the back sides of all of these, like the Macy's here, and then we'll have a stop over here by the whatever this restaurant was. I forgot what it was. I don't think it's one of the ones you plopped. And then we'll come back. So that way it goes sort of into the main town area as well. So all of our residents here can get easy access to Copperville's town area. Copperville line 2, and then we will make this one a slightly darker gray, and we're actually doing pretty good here. We only need, like, I think 1 or 2 more. Grab this, start it here again. There we go. Looks like not a whole lot of traffic over here now, which is kind of cool. Obviously there's always going to be little bits of merging issues, but nothing ridiculous. Alright, let's bring you down here. We'll have a stop outside the apartment complex first. And then maybe we'll have you route all the way down to the back. I imagine this is like the outside of a neighborhood here. So having a stop on the outside of the neighborhood kind of makes sense. And then this is a main road here. It's kind of hard to tell because you can't see the roads. But it is one of the grass paved roads. You can even tell because it's a bit narrower. So it's got the grass on the outside. Those are the main roads, so I don't feel bad about having bus stops on those, just not like right inside the suburbs, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do a stop here, which is kind of near the beach, so that makes sense. And then we'll have one over here, kind of outside the other beach on this side. Maybe have one down this way outside this neighborhood, and then this is like the outer loop. And then we should also drop off at the same little spot here that's kind of covering the parking garage. Obviously not covering like anybody, but I think it makes sense. So there's that. This is Copperville 3, line 3. There we go. You're going to be another shade of gray. Slightly darker yet. And then I think we only need like 1 more. And I think that does it for the buses. So let's take a look and see how our buses are doing. Looks like we're getting quite a bit of buses. You know what? I think this is causing traffic with the harbor. I just realized that. I'm pretty sure this is not a good place for the buses. I might have to move those stops. I wonder, I'm just curious. Let me speed this up. Is this gonna block cars from getting in and out, or are they even trying to get in and out? I don't think they are. Let's see what happens though if they are, once these guys unload here. I think we'll see a bunch of cars spawn here. Yeah, they're gonna spawn here and then just wait till all the buses leave. I'm imagining this would cause a little bit of traffic, to say the least. So maybe instead we should, let me see if I can change this. We can drag this stop and put it, let's disperse these stops a bit so they're not all waiting for the same spot. So this one could be over here. This darker one could be over here. I don't think this is having any consequences on our route. I'm pretty sure that they can still loop around here regardless. And then I'm pretty sure this is the last one then. Let me just see. No, it's not. Okay, so now that's the last one. I'm going to put this one, and this one is trying to get out that way, so I'm going to leave that how it was. This one is going to go straight across, which is fine. Looks like we are good to go on that. So that should hopefully help up with the weird kind of spread we had. And obviously we're still going to have buses waiting. That's just how it's going to be. But this should definitely help with evening out everything. So there we go. Got that taken care of. And let's see how many people are using these bus routes now, just out of curiosity. 100 passengers, not bad. I think that some of our bigger routes have like 300, but I think that this 100 passengers really does make a difference. 100 and this is like 40. Line 1, wait, which one are we trying to look for? It was RC Copperville. This one's got 156. Okay, good. This is perfect. So we are getting some more use out of this, looks like. So people are taking this bus route all the way down to Rhinestone Central, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we wanted. And I think that's going to be doing its part in evening this out. Now, obviously, you really can't tell because it seems to be hit or miss on if we're going to have traffic here or not. But it looks to me, anyway, like the traffic is much lighter going out. So I think we are pretty successful in that, which is awesome. And that is pretty much where I'm going to call this episode. I just, like I said, wanted to tackle the rest of Rhinestone. So I'm really happy with our progress. I love that we got all this foliage done. It's amazing to me how we can go from just detailing this little area here with all these individual pieces, which really does take forever to do by hand, to tackling an entire project like the entirety of Copperville all in one episode using our copy-paste method is fantastic. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I can't wait to expand on the rest of this island, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.